They said it was just a coincidence. But what happened to 14-year-old Annalise Sullivan in the summer of 1998 defied every rational explanation. She was a quiet girl from a rural town in Pennsylvania, the kind who rarely spoke in class but often wrote poems in her notebooks, dreamy dark verses about time, loss, and forgotten voices. Her parents, both devout Catholics, had always felt uneasy about her vivid imagination, especially when she began waking up at 3:17 a.m. every single night for months, always scribbling something frantically in her diary before falling back asleep, but no one took it seriously until the morning she went missing. The night before, she'd been seen on the porch talking to her younger brother, to the man in the brown coat. But there was no such man in the neighborhood, and the security cameras on their street caught nothing at all, not even her leaving the house. Yet by dawn, she was gone without a trace. Not a broken window, not a footprint. Only a single page torn from her journal lying on her bed with the words, "He walks between seconds," scrawled in what appeared to be her handwriting. The police investigated for weeks, and though the FBI got involved, they found no clues except one bizarre detail: the timestamp on the family's digital camera had shifted forward by 6 minutes and 39 seconds between 3:15 a.m. and 3:20 a.m., as if time itself had glitched. Weeks turned into years, and the case faded from the news, just another unsolved disappearance. Until 11 years later, in 2009, when a man walking his dog near the Allegheny Forest stumbled across a sealed iron box, half buried under a moss-covered stone. Inside were several items: a rosary, a photograph of a teenage girl with June 1998 scrawled on the back, and a leather-bound notebook filled with disturbing entries written in Annalise's unmistakable handwriting, except the final pages were dated 2025, a full 16 years in the future. Forensic experts confirmed the handwriting and carbon-dated the notebook and photo, but couldn't explain how they ended up in a rust-proof sealed box buried miles from her home. Even more haunting was the last journal entry, which read, "They said I had a choice, forget or wander. But I chose to remember, and now I wait for the ones who still look between seconds." The media reignited with theories. Some said it was time travel, others a hoax, some even believed in interdimensional abduction. But her parents, now older and still clinging to hope, believed it was a sign that she was alive somewhere in some form, and began receiving strange calls at exactly 3:17 a.m. every year on June 17th, the day she disappeared. Always silence on the line, until 2023, when a voice finally whispered, "I remember the porch light." The call was traced to a location in upstate New York, a remote farmhouse that had been abandoned since the early 1900s. But when investigators reached the site, they found only a scorched circle of grass and a melted pocket watch stuck at 3:17. Then in 2025, on the very date mentioned in the journal, an anonymous package was delivered to a podcast host who had covered the story years earlier, containing a flash drive with a video clip showing Annalise looking no older than she had in 1998, reciting one of her own poems from her journal in front of a mirror that showed no reflection. Experts authenticated the voice background sounds, and even the clock ticking in the video, all pointing to it being recorded in the modern day, but no metadata, no trace of who sent it. In the background of the clip, just before it cuts off, a low male voice can be heard saying, "The seam is opening again." Suddenly, fringe forums lit up, some claiming it was evidence of a hidden dimension known as the seam, where time, memory, and identity dissolve and rearrange, while skeptics called it a cruel stunt. But then came the most compelling clue. Yet satellite data from a weather balloon showed a localized electromagnetic pulse in that region on the same day and time the package was received, powerful enough to short out electronics within a 2-mile radius, and some even claimed to see a ripple in the sky, like a curtain being drawn back for a moment, though her body was never found. Sightings began popping up in different cities, always a girl in her teens, pale, silent, and barefoot, leaving behind pieces of paper with dates, coordinates, and cryptic words like "remember the threshold," or "underneath the second bell." And every time investigators followed these leads, they found more oddities. Clocks running backwards, strange symbols etched into stone. In at least one case where a man went catatonic after touching an abandoned journal and woke up reciting Annalise's poetry. Today, the case remains officially unsolved. But a growing number of independent researchers and digital detectives believe she may have crossed into something outside our understanding of space and time, perhaps willingly, perhaps as a result of something buried deep in that summer night. Her name has become an urban legend, a symbol of mysteries we pretend don't exist, and even now, it's 3:17 a.m., some still swear. They feel a chill as though someone unseen is watching from just outside the bounds of time, waiting, remembering, and perhaps preparing to return.